So let me go into a bit more detail about the 3 levels. Okay. Distribution first. We go from top down, right? There are 3 elements in distribution model. Number 1, topology. Number 2, the number of branch formats. Number 3, the actual locations. Okay. So topology, there are only 2. Right? So most banks today have a profit center approach. So each branch is an individual profit center. They operate as a somewhat independent business, right? And monolithic. Right? Now, these days, most banks are talking about a hub and spoke model, right? So that's a brand new topology, right? What's the difference? The difference is that in a hub and spoke model, the spoke has to support each other. Okay? In a monolithic model, each profit center, they sort of compete for markets. They compete for customers, right? When they compete, it's almost impossible for them to help each other, right? In the hub and spoke model, the most important thing, the most difficult thing is the red lines, right? How would you go about convincing your branch managers to help each other, right? So that's difficult, right? So let me go into a bit more details about hub and spoke. So number 1 is the hub, right? So you have to first define the market. For example, Salt City might be a market. Los Angeles might be too big a market, so you may want to divide it into several sub-markets or micro-markets, right? Anyway, you have a market, and in the market, you have a hub branch, right? So this is a full-service branch, usually in the same location as your headquarters, and then you want to surround the hub branch with satellite branches, right? And now we're getting interesting. The design point of the satellite branches is to make them as small as possible. You want to provide very limited amount of services that are the most relevant to the customers around it, right? And why we want to do that? So that we can build them smaller and smaller and smaller, cheaper and cheaper and cheaper, okay? Right, so that's the design point for satellite branches, right? So as you shrink the size of the satellite branches, of course, you want to differentiate, right? So a branch in a residential neighborhood shouldn't be a branch in this area, right? This is all commercial, right? Nobody lives around it, right? So you probably won't be able to provide mortgage services in a branch next door to this Marriott hotel, right? So that's hub and spoke. And then outside of the satellite branches, you have the self-service centers, okay? In some countries, for example, Latin America, you may have a 4th ring, the agencies, the correspondents, the mom and pop stores that help you take care of some of the cash transactions. But in most countries, you have 3 layers, the hub, the satellites, and the self-service centers. And we like the number 3 layers. Why? Because we often assign 3 conflicting missions to your branch network, right? Experience, image, innovation. Yeah, these are nice, but they're kind of expensive. So let's assign the mission of keeping up the reputation, the image, innovation to the hub branch. So we only do it once per market, right? The second mission of branches is sales, customer relationship. So that's the mission of the satellite branches. How about transactions? Right? That's the mission of the self-service